find that comfortable seated pose, bring your hands to the lower abdomen. And as you find your breath, feel the breath enter and fill up the abdominal cavity. And not just up right below the ribs, but everything from the lowest rib down into the actual, even filling up the pelvis if possible. Right, so above and below the belly button, below your ribs and above the pubic bone. You can fill that whole area with breath. This means that you've got to allow your abdominal muscles to relax for a sec, just for a second. When you do that though, your diaphragm, which is another muscle, will take over. So it is really worth your while, especially right now as we're trying to keep our lungs as healthy and clean as possible. Right, to be able to allow that diaphragm to really work means you've got to make room for it, space for it. As the diaphragm descends on the inhale into the abdominal cavity, your internal organs will move down toward the pelvis, and that's why we feel so full when we let that happen, right? Because the internal organs have to move somewhere. As you exhale, you're going to let the internal organs float back up in that viscosity that they are housed in, right? So they can float back up as the diaphragm rises and you feel a strong internal engagement to empty out completely. So keep your hands on your belly and take 3 more rounds of this belly breathing, which is really, to be more accurate, this filling up of the pelvis and of the abdominal cavity. And then on the exhalation, an engagement of your core. So keep your hands there so you can feel that your abs are actually drawing back, that the sides of your lower waistline are knitting in, and you do even feel a contraction from the hip bones, or between the hip bones as they move closer together. Once you have finished 3 more rounds of this belly breathing, bring your hands up to your ribs. Bring your thumbs to the backs of your ribs and the fingers to the front, and start breathing with your intercostal muscles a little more, pulling the breath in to the spaces between your ribs, or imagine that that is what is happening. Fill up the back of your ribs, fill up the front of your ribs, and expand into the palms of your hands, excuse me, as you finish your inhale. As you exhale, hug your ribs back together. Keep that going. Inhale, expand the front and the back ribs away from each other. Exhale, hug back and front toward each other. As you knit your back and front ribs toward the spine and toward the center line of the body as well. And now see if you can expand forward and back and left and right. Hold the ribs as open as possible. You're spreading your ribs on your inhale with those external intercostals, and then you're knitting your ribs closer together and closer to the spine with your exhale and with your internal intercostals. Good. You can bring your arms down now and bring your hands to your knees. Take another inhalation, now bringing your attention up to your chest. And as you inhale, we're going to inhale to fill up the upper thoracic cavity as well. Now this is not by using our shoulders, it's not using our neck muscles, and it's not even using our pecs. We're still using our intercostals housed in between our ribs here. Pull the ribs open, the upper ribs. Broaden across the collarbone, right? Let the collarbone slide, both sides of the collarbone slide out toward the shoulders, and let the shoulders broaden as you finish your inhale. As you exhale, let those ribs come closer together and knit in toward the sternum. In the back of your body, your upper ribs are knitting in toward your spine. 3 more breaths like that into the upper thoracic cavity. Make sure you're feeling your back body expand, just like you're feeling the front of the body expand. We want to have access to all of the lung tissue in the back of our body as well. Good. At the end of that, go ahead and release your strong breath and just drop the breath for a moment, letting yourself be present in your body with your breath, very subtle perhaps at this moment. Just notice how you're feeling after that simple breathing exercise. You should already feel more grounded, more centered, and more relaxed and energized at the same time. So know that a simple breathing practice like this that just took 5 minutes can really shift your day. And right now, I would say more than any other time, if you can really just think about it for a moment, this is probably one of the best things you can do for yourself to help keep your lungs strong and to combat this virus. So from there, I'm going to have you uncross your legs and come onto your back. You're going to roll all the way onto the back from the beginning now. So bring your, if you were sitting on a prop, just take the prop to the side so that you know you can grab it in a moment. So bring your back to the floor, draw your knees into your chest. And as you draw your knees in, I'm going to shift the view there a little lower. As you draw your knees in, just rock side to side a few times, massaging your back into the floor. So as you know, I like to warm up the body before I take these deep stretches. And we are going to be moving more than we usually do when we prop ourselves up and kind of lay around on bolsters at the studio. So this will be a more movement-oriented restorative practice that will definitely leave you more open, more mobile, and with a feeling of freedom in the body. Now, after rocking side to side across your rib cage, move your knees further forward and rock across the small of your back. So your knees are basically over your belly button right now. Your arms are not doing this work, your core is doing this work. And as you slow down the rocking even more and start to bring the knees a little further away, you'll start to feel even more core and back engagement. See if you can bring the circumference of that circle to a little more fluidity. Make sure that as you're tracing that circumference, it's really a half circle, right? That we're slowing down, moving fluidly, and actually widening that circumference. Okay? So we're taking the knees almost all the way to the floor each time. And then eventually we rock so far away, the knees rock so far away from the chest that the toes are now touching. Continue to rock side to side with the toes on the floor. And then eventually bring the soles of your feet to the ground and now do this more of a windshield wiper position. With your feet about sit bone distance apart, so as your knees move to one side, they're not stacking, but rather one knee is moving into the inner ankle of the opposite knee. Keep that going a few more times. Good. And then on your next round, excuse me, we're going to go ahead and bring the knees back up to center so that your feet are flat to your mat. Take your arms alongside your torso now with the palms on the ground. Take an inhale in this position and extend your spine a little more. As you exhale, round your back. Engage your abdominals and scoop the sit bones toward the knees. Inhale, lay your ribs on the floor. Lay your sacrum on the ground, but lift the small of your back off the ground. Exhale, scoop the small of your back up press the small of your back down as you scoop your sacrum up off the floor. So we're trying to negotiate a way to move our pelvis independently of our lower back. Try that one more time. Inhale, let the lower back rise. The sacrum, the back of the pelvis is on the floor. Exhale, scoop the pelvis up and press your lumbar spine down. Now we're going to move into a bridge pose. So on your next inhale, peel your lumbar spine up, then your lower thoracic, then your mid-thoracic, all the way up to your upper thoracic spine. Stay here, and as you exhale, root down through your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms over your head. Reach your fingertips toward the wall behind you. And exhale, bring your arms and your spine very slowly back down to the ground. When your hips touch, take a long inhalation here. Let your sacrum drop down and your lumbar spine rise. Exhale, reverse that. Scoop the pelvis up, push the small of your back down. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, because most of the time this is what will happen. If the butt comes off the ground, so does our lower back, right? So instead of that, push down through your feet, scoop the sit bones towards your knees, and let your abs move down so that the lumbar spine also moves down. Now peel your lumbar spine up, peel your lower thoracic, mid-thoracic, upper thoracic spine off the ground. Exhale, root down through your feet. Adding on a bit, reach your arms over your head as you take your next inhale. Push the hands down into the ground, the backs of your hands down into the ground. Make sure your chin is up rather than tucked into the soft part of your throat. And exhale your arms and your spine very, very slowly back down. One vertebra at a time. Our pelvis is not going to touch down until our lumbar spine is touched down. So again, abs are strong, push down through your feet, point your sit bones at your knees. Once the small of your back lowers, then allow your sacrum to touch down as well. Take a long inhale, let the spine extend. And one more time, exhale, scoop the pelvis up, press the small of your back down. Moving independently the pelvis from the lower back. Inhale, arms are going to rise at the same time that your spine is rising now. Feel your spine one vertebra at a time to the best of your ability off the floor. Once you get into your back bend, exhale, push down to the soles of your feet. Push down to the backs of your hands. Feel your hamstrings working. Take a long inhale here. Good, exhale, roll your spine down. Bring your arms down. Make sure that your lumbar spine touches down before your sacrum, before the back of the pelvis touches down. When the back of your pelvis touches, take your inhale. And let the small of your back rise into a neutral spine position now. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, pick up your right foot. Draw just your right knee into your chest, and this time do clasp your hands around your right shin. Take a huge inhale into the right side of your lower belly. Expand the right side of your belly into your right thigh. Exhale to draw your right knee towards your right armpit now. Take an inhale to move your right ribs into your right thigh this time. So we're breathing more to the right side. Again, expanding so fully that your ribs really do get close. If not touch really, to the right thigh with that inhale. And then on the exhale, knit your right ribs back in towards center. But from here, we're going to take your right hand to your right knee and just circle the right thigh bone through the right hip socket. Making sure that you're creating as fluid a circle and a real circle, not an oblong, not a choppy triangle, or even a rectangle, but a true circle to the best of your ability. Your foot is relaxed. And then reverse the circle. Just, again, you can do this without using your arm, by the way. The reason I like doing it without the arm is it just gets all of those little muscle fibers that are there to stabilize the right thigh in the right hip socket. This gives them a little chance to get a good workout as well here. So once you've moved in both directions, place your right foot back down to the ground. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, bring your left knee in. Clasp both hands around the left shin. Draw the left knee in towards your chest. Give yourself the opportunity now to take a huge breath in into the belly. And as you exhale, engage in drawing that left knee in a bit closer to your ribs. Then clear the ribs entirely. Bring your left knee towards your left armpit. You're only holding on with your left hand now. Deep breath in into the left side of your rib cage. Expand your left ribs into your left thigh. And as you exhale, knit the left ribs back in toward your spine and draw your left knee a bit closer to your left armpit. Take a hold of your left knee and begin circling the knee around. Again, you can use your arm or not. If you decide not to, make sure that you are keeping your right, well, whether you're using this, doing this with your hand or not, please keep your right glutes on the floor as much as you can throughout. And again, we're looking for a very fluid, slow circle. When we circle through like this, we do encourage our synovial glands housed in all of our joints to secrete the fluid that we need to keep our joints lubricated. Go ahead and reverse the circle if you haven't already. So the slower the better. And remember, we're also asking our those little muscle fibers that don't normally get to do this to get their little workout as well. Once you have circled in both directions for at least 3 rounds, go ahead and bring your left foot back down to the floor as well. Take an inhale here, reach your arms out to either side of the room. As you exhale, bring both knees over to the right. And again, it's like we're doing that windshield wiper pose again. So your left knee will come into your right inner ankle. And the right outer knee will drop all the way down to the floor. As your left inner knee moves closer to the ground, if you feel like you can go a little further with this stretch, bring your right heel up Bring the outer edge of your right foot to the top of your left outer thigh. If that is too much, you will know right away and bring it back so that your foot is underneath your knee instead. Your chest is open. Take a breath here and notice that on your left side, we could actually stretch out a little more by drawing the left sit bone toward the left knee. Hopefully you're feeling that on the outside of your left thigh. Remember, we're engaging our left inner thigh no matter what to bring the left knee a bit closer to the ground. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder and breathe as deeply as you can into the left side of your lower back, into the outside of your left hip, and all the way down your left outer thigh. One more strong exhale. See how close your left ear can get to the floor. And then bring your head slowly back to center. Uncross your legs. And bring your feet back up onto the floor. Take an inhale here. Breathe deeply so that your belly really does rise. Right, getting your diaphragm to work. Exhale, both knees over to the left side. Draw your right inner knee towards your left inner ankle. Draw the left outer knee toward the ground. If this is enough, stay right here. Breathe into the stretch. If you'd like to go a little further and you don't quite feel it yet, bring your left outer ankle to the top of your right outer thigh. Engage your right inner thigh and draw the right knee closer to the floor. Chest is opening. Turn your head to look over your right shoulder now. Let your neck muscles relax. Let your shoulders draw down away from your ears. And keep working this twist. So we want that right hip to be moving as far away from the right rib, lower right rib as possible. We want the right sit bone to be tucking toward the right inner knee, right crease of the right knee. That will vastly increase the stretch on all parts. And do make sure that your right inner thigh is still contracting to bring the knee in closer with integrity to the floor. Of course, if this bothers your right knee at all, you need to lessen the pose. You can bring your left foot back underneath your right knee. Take one final inhale. See if maybe your right ear can get any closer to the floor. Slowly bring your gaze back up to the sky. And bring your feet back down to the mat. Once you get there, take a deep breath in. And exhale, bring your knees into your chest. You're going to use your core here and not your arms. So just slide your arms down a little further so they're a little lower than your shoulders. Take an inhale here. Move your knees away from you. So far away that your toes will touch the floor lightly. Your back arches. Exhale, bring your knees in. So close that your sacrum rises off the ground. Shoulders are relaxed and your facial muscles are relaxed. Your abs might start shaking once your shoulders, your neck, and your face relax. That's okay. Inhale, move your knees away from you, so far away that your toes touch the ground. Back is arching, spinal muscles are working. Exhale, the front of your core is working, your abs are strong, shoulders are relaxed. Bring your knees into your chest, scoop the back of your pelvis off the floor. Inhale, move the knees away. Mobilizing our spine, touch the toes. Exhale, knees come in, shoulders stay down, shoulder blades are on the floor, abs are strong, scoop the pelvis up. Do a few more like that in your own time and pace, inhaling the knees even further away. You can always unfold your knees a bit so that your toes touch further forward. As you exhale, knees come in. Draw the sacrum, the entire back of your pelvis if possible, off the floor, without shrugging your shoulders up around your ears, right? Keep the shoulders down. One more time, inhale, knees away. And exhale, knees come in. Scooping the pelvis up, don't forget that part. Good, and then place the feet back down to the floor. Once your feet are on the ground, extend your right leg up to the sky now. Flex your right foot, take an inhale. Breathe up the back of your right leg all the way up into your calf muscles. Hold the toes down. Do this without using your hand. You have feet, you have muscles in your feet, and you have muscles in the front of your lower leg. They can do that for you. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, start to root down through the sole of your left foot a little more. Activate both inner thighs. Activate your right quads. Make sure you can bring your right hand. Just make sure there's some strength work there. Abs are strong as well. See how far you can bring your toes over your head, or at least to the point where you can look up and see your toes with your eyes without looking down, right? Now, take a strong inhalation. Please feel how that inhale can help feed and nourish the hamstring muscles here. Exhale, engage your quads even more. Root down to the sole of your left foot. Make sure your abs are strong. And now go ahead and start to inhale your right leg out to the right. Bring your right hand up so your right elbow is on the ground. Right hand comes up as though your right arm is a kickstand. And the right hand is just letting your right shin rest in it. Or even if that's too far, just hold on to your right outer thigh instead. Your left foot is still rooting down into the floor for right now. Please make sure the inner edge of your left foot is still on the ground, and make sure that your left glutes are also still on the floor. So we're not rolling all of our body weight over to the right. Chest is opening. You can turn your left palm down onto the floor and anchor yourself that way as well. Please breathe into your right inner thigh. And while you're here, just circle your right foot through the right ankle. Please make sure you're still breathing. Reverse that circle and take it as slowly as you can here. Again, as complete a circle as possible. And take one more round. And go ahead and flex your foot. Flex your right foot and root the sole of your right foot into the right wall. As you root the left glutes and the sole of your left foot down, and your left palm down into the ground. But now using your right arm, please, because your right inner thigh is relaxed, we're going to coax that right leg back up over our right hip. And now we're going to cross the right knee over the left knee. Take an inhale, pick up your left foot, and draw those knees in close. Lift your head up for a moment, grab your heels, and lift your heels up away from your hips. Bring your forehead in to meet your knees, bring your knees in to meet your forehead. Get off of your shoulders entirely and maybe even up off of your shoulder blades. Good. Pull the heels away from each other, especially if you don't yet really feel this. This is for your outer hips, outer thighs. Exhale, squeeze the inner thighs together and bring your forehead towards your knees. Your abs are also working and your pelvis is off the floor to the best of your ability. Take one final exhale here. Keep your arms and your knees the way they are, but lower your head down. Take a huge inhale, really huge inhale into your back, the back of your pelvis and the outer hips. Exhale, see if maybe your right knee can get any closer to your chest. And now release your heels slowly back down toward your hips. Take your arms back out to either side. Keep your knees crossed, right knee over left, and take both knees over to the left side of the room. Open your chest plate up toward the sky. Take an inhale here. Exhale, squeeze those inner thighs together. Draw your sit bones toward your knees. This is important even though it seems kind of over the top, right? But once you feel that internal engagement, you're going to feel a lot more traction through the lower back. Turn your head to look over your right shoulder again. I'm not going to, so I can speak and you can really hear me clearly, but you go ahead. As you bring your right ear a little closer to the floor, make sure your right shoulder blade is also descending into your mat. We are still squeezing the inner thighs together, hollowing out the lower abdomen. Feel that toning between your hip bones even. Draw your right sit bone towards your knees. Pull the knees a little further to the left side. Good, and then uncross your legs. Bring your knees slowly back up. Rock side to side a moment. And then bring your right foot to the floor as you extend your left leg to the sky. Good. Taking an inhale here. Flexing your left foot. Draw the left toes toward the wall behind your head. Your quads are strong, right? Just make sure they are. I mean, really, because it doesn't matter how long we've been doing yoga, you kind of have to tell your leg muscles to work for you. They don't normally just, volunteer their time. Right, so flexing your left foot. Increase the stretch on your left calf muscles as well as you find a little more strength working those shins. Make sure that we are also finding a little core strength and root down to the sole of your right foot. As you take your next exhale, pull the toes further over your head. If your arms feel like they are falling asleep, bring the arms down alongside your torso. Keep pulling your toes back, your abs are engaging, and your neck is absolutely relaxed here. Root down more through the sole of your right foot. Pull the left toes back. Quads are strong. One more inhale. And one more exhale to see if maybe we can make a little more length happen on those left hamstrings. Now start to open the left leg out. Bring your left elbow to the ground. Bring your left shin into your left palm. And keep your right foot rooting down. Your right knee is pulling slightly to the right so you can keep the right glutes on the floor. You're going to take your right hand and put the palm on the ground as well, so that we're truly anchored to the floor here as we hold this pose. In other words, we're not rolling to the left, right? Keep the right foot rooting down, especially the inner edge of your right foot. Keep your right glutes on the ground. Keep your right palm lightly rooting, anchoring as well. Shoulder blades, both of them are on the floor now. With all of that anchoring, see how far your left inner thigh is willing to stretch. And circle through your ankle while we're here. But notice how that stretch, and as you move through your ankle, you're also lengthening out and feeling this movement all the way up into the inner groin. Reverse the circle and take it in the opposite direction. Keep rooting down through the sole of your right foot. Good, now take another inhale, flex your foot. Root the sole of your left foot into the left wall as though you have a wall that's just another inch further. Right? Reach the leg as long as it'll go. Feel the legs from your inner hip all the way through the inner ankle. Good, now with your arm strength, not your leg strength, because your inner thighs don't really want to work for you right now. They're really relaxed. Bring that leg back up. Good, and then cross the left knee over right. Squeeze the inner thighs together here. Take an inhale, and exhale, bring your head up. Grab your heels, lift the heels away from the floor. I didn't mention this last time, but we may not be able to cross our knees. See if you can cross your shins instead. Otherwise, knee over knee, heels are rising. Squeeze those inner thighs together strongly. And now bring your forehead toward your knees toward your forehead. You're not doing this by yanking your neck up. You're doing this with a strong internal engagement here through your core. If you do not feel this tomorrow in your abdominals, I will be extremely disappointed. So do make sure you are working your core here. It's an added benefit to this type of a restorative practice. Take one final exhale, bring forehead to knees, knees to forehead. Keep your legs where they are, keep the heels up high, lower your head down, and hopefully we've increased the stretch now on the outsides of the thighs. Maybe the heels can lift a little higher. Squeeze those inner thighs together and hollow out the belly here again, knitting your hip bones closer to midline and closer to each other. Now slowly release the heels down towards your hips. Bring your arms out, inhaling. Exhale, both knees over to the right. Your knees are going to stay crossed. Sorry, I don't want to smash my reading glasses here. I'm going to need them later. Open up your chest here. And make sure that your left shoulder blade is now rooting down or getting somewhere close to rooting down into the ground. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Draw your sit bones towards your knees. You are, again, using the transverse abdominis very strongly and your internal obliques to hug in toward midline, almost like you're trying to hug your belly button. Right? And then from there, draw the sit bones towards your knees. Inner thighs are hugging in, and the knees are drawing close to the floor. Shoulders are relaxed, your shoulders are away from your ears. See how close you can bring your left ear to the ground. Notice where the stretch is. Try to traction out the lower back left side this time by bringing the top of the left side of your pelvis. You could even use your left thumb here to help you. Draw the top of the left side of your pelvis away from your left ribs. Feel how that increases the stretch. Then uncross your legs, bring your knees back up. Rock it side to side a few times here. Maybe we don't use our arms. This is going to help keep us warm as well. And now we're going to bring the knees in just like we did before, all the way into our chest. Begin to circle over to the right. So your knees will point to the right. And then you're going to continue your circle so that the kneecaps start to point toward the front of your room, I guess is how we'll put it. And the knees over to the left, toward your left armpit. Now you're exhaling. And now as you finish your exhale, the knees will come into your chest and the sacrum will rise if possible off the floor. Let's do that again. Inhale, knees circle slowly to the right. We're moving through the sacroiliac joints. Your knees point forward as you finish your inhale. Exhale, circle your knees to the left. And bring your knees all the way in towards your left armpit and then in towards your chest. Do that one more time. Inhale, knees over to the right. Please move it way, way slowly so that it takes you the entire inhale to move your knees away. And the entire exhale to circle your legs through the other half of that circle and bring them back into your chest. Now, once you have brought the knees into your chest, let's reverse the circle and take it in the opposite direction. Knees inhaling to the left now and pointing forward. Knees exhaling to the right. The slower the circle, the more core workout you're going to get, but even more importantly, the more stabilization in your spine and mobility work your spine is going to get as well. Right? When we use our arms, there's not as much happening, and when we move quickly or with momentum, we're only circling through the parts of the body that are already loose, right? That are already mobile. So by slowing down, using your core strength, you're finding just the right amount of flexibility and strength to support more freedom in the body, right? Freedom needs support. But once you have taken that third round, now go ahead and clasp your hands around your shins. Draw your knees towards your armpits, right knee toward right armpit, left knee toward left. And just begin to circle or move side to side now. So one of your knees is going to come in while the other points away and vice versa. Like the hips or the shins are steering wheel. I don't know when we move a steering wheel like this, but steer your hips, steer your pelvis around. And once you have moved side to side a few times in this way, we're going to bring the heels up over our knees and for a little variation on Yoga Nidasana. So your heels are going to turn out, your heels are turning in, your toes are turning out. Take your hands, though, not up to your soles, but right underneath what we call our ankle bones, right? So your hands are underneath the ankles, your elbows are inside your knees, and your elbows are coaxing your knees, not forcing, right? But just coaxing the knees open a little more. Heels turn in, toes turn out. Take a huge breath into your belly. And as you exhale, move your knees so far forward that it's almost like your arms are straightening out here. Knees, in other words, are moving away from your armpits, but the thigh bones are still parallel with the floor to the best of your ability. Now we're going to bring the left heel into the groin as we extend our right leg straight. That's our inhale. And use your right arm a little bit. We're not forcing the right leg, but again, we're using our right arm to support that length. And then switch sides. Your right heel is coming into your groin and the left leg is reaching out. Use the strength of your left arm to make sure that we are fully experiencing the length on the left inner thigh. But do that again. Bring the left heel in, bring the right leg out, holding here. Deep inhale, both of the glutes are still on the floor. And switch again. Right heel in, left leg out. Use the strength of your left arm to see if maybe there's a little more length you can get out of that left inner thigh. We're not pushing down though. We're not pushing down. Your hand is still underneath. And it's kind of like you're saying, maybe you want to go a little more to the left, not can you go further or closer to the ground, right? One more time. Over to the right. So same thing here again. Think about your right leg getting longer and the sole of your right foot getting closer to the wall. Your right arm is helping that happen. And over to the left. Left leg getting longer. The sole of your left foot gets closer to the left wall. You want to feel like you're lengthening through the inner thigh, from the inner groin, all the way through the inner heel. But now, go ahead and bring both heels back in. Take a huge inhale here. And again, we're going to bring one knee in and then the other. We're kind of in a Baddha Konasana position here. The big toes might be touching. The soles of your feet don't have to touch. But we're just moving through the sacroiliac joints again, side to side. Feel a little strength work in your inner thighs to help make that happen. And now extend both legs out into Supta Upavishta Konasana. Now with your hands on your inner thighs, you might be tempted to push down, so I'm going to have you bring your hands to the outer thighs instead. Push through your heels, spread your toes out, open up the chest here, and breathe as deeply as you can. Let your elbows touch down to the floor, let the backs of your arms push down into the ground. We're here for 3 more breaths. Deep belly and pelvic breaths, right? Strong exhales to engage the abdominals. When your abdominals are engaging, you'll feel even more support. Take one final inhale here. Good, now exhale, slowly bend your knees again. The soles of both feet are gonna come in toward each other into Baddha Konasana, and then let your feet drop down to the ground for Supta Baddha Konasana. If you would like to here, you can bring your pillow or your bolster or whatever you do have as our one little prop today. Place it to the front of your mat. I'm using an extra rolled up mat that I've folded in half and then rolled it up so it's a little puffier. And then I'm going to bring Supta Baddha Konasana, the feet onto the prop. Let's call it a prop. So now take an inhale here. And as you exhale, let your body sink down into the floor. We should be fairly warm by now, but if you do feel cold at all, just make sure that you're still really, in any way, whether you're cold or warm, please keep supporting yourself with a deep, deep core breath, right? Deep diaphragmatic breath and strong core engaging out breath. Now, while we're letting our hips and our groin and our iliopsoas kind of get their stretching happening, let's do a little more for the shoulders now as you reach your arms up over your shoulders. Point your fingertips toward the ceiling. Take a huge inhale and pull the shoulder blades off of the floor and away from each other. And then we're going to bring our left elbow under the right now. Wrap your forearms, wrap your wrists if you can. If not, we're just going to put the backs of our hands into each other. Otherwise, wrap the wrists as well and then bring the palms together. Take an inhale here. Start to bring your elbows up and bring your fingertips toward the floor behind your head. Bring the elbows back down toward your sternum. If this is too much, just bring the backs of your hands together. And now press your forearms away. Maybe the arms go straight. Take another inhale. Bring the elbows up and over your head. Good, and on your exhalation, bring the elbows down toward your sternum, toward your chest plate, and push the forearms as far away from your chest as possible. Do that one more time. Bend your elbows. Inhale the elbows up and back. Go a little further this time if you can. See how far you can reach your fingertips back and elbows over your head. And again, slowly, slowly. This is for the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the arms out now. And once you get there, take an inhale. And exhale, really let your shoulder blades descend back down into the earth. Before we do the other side, please take 3 breaths into your lower belly, lower abdomen. Even into the pelvic cavity, let the belly rise. Exhale, let the belly descend. And then engage your abs so that the belly concaves a bit. Inhale, belly rises, pelvis fills. Exhale, belly deflates. Abs engaged. Do one more like that. This is so healing on so many levels. Please make sure you do. Bring your arms up now. Keep your breathing going, but focus a little more on the shoulder breath as well. Arms are reaching toward the ceiling. This time, right elbow comes underneath left. Wrap your forearms around one another. Wrap your wrists, and then press your palms together. If that is not happening, press the backs of your hands together instead. Take an exhale. Draw the elbows down toward your chest. Draw the shoulders away from your ears. Keep the shoulders down. Inhale, bring your elbows up over your head. This shoulder may be very different from the other shoulder. It may be more or less willing to move like this. So take it slowly. Exhale your elbows down toward your sternum. Each time we move into this, we're going to go just a little further. Not because we're forcing it, but because we're noticing that there's more range of motion. Right, forearms move as far away from your chest as possible. On your exhale, bring the elbows back up. And over. Maybe we touch the floor now with our fingertips. Good, inhale the elbows back up. And exhale the elbows back down towards your sternum. Press the forearms away as you continue to exhale. Good, and one more time. Inhale the elbows off of your sternum. Exhale the elbows over your face. Maybe we go further. Please move slowly. Please do not force anything on your shoulders. This should feel like a massage. Bring the elbows back and press the forearms away one more time. Unravel your arms, inhale. Good, and now as you exhale, draw your navel down, let your lower back descend into the floor. Good. Now, but we're going to bring the feet onto the, whatever you do, have your yoga prop, your knees are going to be together this time. So the inner thighs are most likely together, your inner knees are together. Bring the inner edges of your feet to touching as well. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders up. You're going to reach your fingertips toward your knees, right in between both knees. Hold here, take an inhale, lift the shoulder blades a little higher. Then exhale, just pulse. This is the only time I will ever tell you to pulse, by the way. But pulse up on an exhale, exhale, exhale. So every time you exhale, lift up. We're going to do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep squeezing those thighs together. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release your head, neck, and shoulders back down to the floor. Take a huge inhale here. And let your exhale release your lower back into the mat. Now bring your feet up off of the prop. Extend your legs straight, both of them this time, over your hips. Flex and point your feet a few times here. And then move kind of into a halfway point, halfway flex where your toes are spread out and not really pointed, right? That might give us a Charlie horse right now. So make sure you're just enlivening your feet, half point, half flex. And now start to bring, don't use your arms here. In fact, just cross your arms over your chest. Start to bring your legs in closer. Okay, we're doing it, it's like we're doing a Paschimottanasana, a seated forward fold, but we're upside down with that, right? Pull the toes over your head. Now, without using your hands, you're going to push the inner edges of your feet up more and pull the outer edges of your feet down more. My legs are shaking, your legs might be shaking too. It doesn't mean we can't do it. It just means the legs are doing what they need to do to let go of some tension here. You don't usually spread the toes and push the inner edges of the feet up and pull the outer edges of the feet back. This is going to activate different muscle groups and stretch us in a different way than we normally would be. So if the legs aren't used to it, just let them shake. Right, take one more deep breath in. Really keep pushing up through inner edge, pulling out through outer edge. Quads are strong, abs are strong. Draw the legs in closer. Good, and release. Wonderful. I'm going to have you bring your left foot rather to the floor. Cross your right ankle to the top of your left knee now. Take an inhale in this position. Exhale, draw your left foot off the ground. And as soon as the left knee comes in, keep the right knee moving away. As you exhale, you may decide that you want to reach your right arm through this little triangle you've created. Then reach your left arm around so that you clasp your hands around your left shin. You could lift your head up here as well, bringing your forehead to your knee and your knee to your forehead. If you're kind of done working your abs, or if your neck has just had it, right? If your neck is not, was like, I didn't sign up for this, just keep your head on the floor. But keep your right knee pointing away, right? We don't want to bring the right knee in close. As the right knee points away, see if it'll draw even further away while the left knee comes in. If you're not sure where you should be feeling this, try bringing your left knee in closer and try bringing your right knee even further away from your right shoulder. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, coax the left thigh in. Abs are strong. When that starts to twinge out your right knee, don't do any more than that, right? We always want to be protecting our joints, particularly our right knee. All right, from here, we're going to roll over to the left. So you're going to bring the sole of your right foot down to the floor. You're going to bring your left hand to the base of your shin, your right shin. Your right hand will reach down to take a hold of the top of your left foot. All right, this is for your quads. This is stretching out your left quadriceps. So you're going to take your left heel towards your right sit bone, roll onto your back, hold onto your right shin with your left hand, and now just notice how your legs are feeling, first of all, and how your knees are feeling. All right, if you feel like you can go further, you're going to increase the stretch on your left quadriceps by bringing the left inner knee closer to the floor. And you know what? That's your left outer knee. I've been saying it wrong for like 2 weeks now. It's your left outer knee. Closer to the floor. As that left outer knee comes down, engage your left hamstrings. As the left hamstrings engage, your left glutes will engage as well. And this will increase the stretch on your left quadriceps. Take another inhale here. Notice how your chest plate is facing the sky. Make sure that both of the backs of your shoulders are on the ground. Your shoulder blades may come off the floor here, and that's fine. This is a back bend with a little twist. As you exhale, go ahead and engage your hamstrings even more. Engage your left glutes even more. And press the left outer knee closer to the ground. Once you have finished that, we're going to take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring your right foot up to the top of your left thigh. So that if we were standing, it would be like an Ashtanga tree pose, right? Your foot, your heel is as close to your hip as possible. And then your right knee draws down. If this is too much on your knee, I'm going to have you extend your left leg and place your left foot back down, back to where we started, right? Or extend the left leg all the way down and hold on to your right foot with your left hand. But if that bothers your knee at all, please remember you can let go of that at any time. Otherwise, we're still here, and now both hands are around the tops of both feet. Take one more inhale here. See if the right knee, the outer knee, can get any closer to the floor as well. Breathe into your right hip flexor. This is where we're going to feel most of that stretch between right hip bone and right thigh bone. Please breathe toward that. Good, and then uncross your legs. Bring it back to where we started. Keep your right foot on the floor. And now cross your left ankle to the top of your right thigh. Point your left knee away from you. Pick up your right foot. You can pick up your head as well. Reach around and grab your right shin. If grabbing the right shin is causing too much pressure in the shoulders, grab the back of the right thigh instead. And again, you can always keep your head on the floor. Close your eyes, find your breath, find this stretch. Open up from your left hip to your left thigh bone. Keep your left knee tracking away. If you're extra stiff here and that knee is just continually comes in, like mine does, I'm going to bring my left hand. I'm not pushing, I'm not forcing. I'm just saying, no, you don't get to come in any closer. I need to feel this stretch, right? So I'm not pushing, but I am holding the leg where it can get by itself. Then I'm going to try to bring my right thigh in a bit closer. Breathe into all of it, right? There's a lot of sensation in this pose. Notice where it is. Breathe into it. Use your exhale to deepen your core connection and use your core strength to bring your right knee in a bit closer to your chest while keeping your left knee pointing away from you. One more strong inhale here. Keep that left knee tracking open. One more exhale, maybe the knee comes in. Maybe you just bring your head up for a moment to see how close your head can get to your toes. And then release your head, release your right foot down. You're gonna roll over now to the right. The sole of your left foot is gonna step onto the ground. Your left knee is pointing toward the sky. Your right hand grabs the base of your left shin. Your left hand reaches down to take a hold of your right foot. Your right heel is, is coming towards your left sit bone. And we're opening, right? Opening the chest, breathing into our open chest. Push down through your elbows. Push down through the outer knee of your right leg. If that bugs your knee, don't do that. Engage your right hamstrings and engage your right glutes. Push the right hip into your left Achilles tendon, or somewhere close, right? Toward the left calf, in other words. Chest is opening. Breath is as deep as you can possibly get it. Again, there's a deep stretch happening here. Make sure you're inhabiting all of it with your in-breath. Exhale to engage in hamstrings, engage your right glutes, engage in bringing the right outer knee closer to the ground. Root down more with the sole of your left foot as well. And now we're going to bring the left foot up to the top of the right thigh, so that your left heel is as close to the right hip as possible, right inner groin even. See how open the left knee can get and how close your left knee can get to the floor. And you can always let go of your feet. It doesn't matter if you're holding onto your feet or not, right? I'm only holding because it's not causing me any tension in my shoulders. And it's nice because it actually can help you keep the shoulders down away from your ears. But if you're straining to get your hands around your feet, go ahead and release the tops of your feet here. Keep both outer knees drawing closer to the ground. We're breathing very deeply into this left hip, the front of the left hip. You can breathe across the entire pelvic girdle if you'd like to. Take one more inhale in this position. Good. And then as you exhale, just uncross your legs. And extend your legs out beneath you. Shake out the tension in your legs. Shake out your knees. Good. And then while we're here, we're going to just turn our head to the right. Slowly. And back to center. And to the left slowly. Notice all that circulation in your legs. Don't miss out on that. And back to center. And do that one more time on each side. Turn your head to the right. One of the things we have to be wary of that I'm noticing is my neck is getting tighter just because I'm turning to look at the camera all the time. You guys are probably turning to look at the camera. So just, spend a little more time making sure that your neck is neutral and relaxed. I'm going to do that a third time for myself. If you would like to, please do. And now just finish off your practice by making sure that you are comfortable here. So you can lift one glute and then the other, and kind of just massage out the back again. Bend your knees a bit while you're doing that. And then lift one shoulder blade and then the other. Lift one hand and then the other. Do whatever you'd like to, right? To make sure you're comfortable. And then just simply let your body relax. Now, if you have something that you could cover your eyes with, please do. Otherwise, let's use our hands. We're going to rub the hands together, create and generate some heat, some energy there in between the palms. Place your palms, right palm over right, left palm over left eye. If you do have an eye pillow or even another piece of clothing, right, that you could just drape over your eyes, please feel free. Breathe through the nostrils toward your third eye, toward where your pinkies are pressing lightly. As you exhale, make sure that the pinky edges of your hands are hugging in closely around your nose so that you are shutting out all external light. Just make sure you're not pushing the palms flat into your eyes. Keep your physical eyes relaxed. Keep the outer light from coming into the little gap between the hands and the nose, so that whatever light you are seeing is your internal light. This internal light is are what we can work with in even a meditation. It is referred to in many traditions. It's referred to in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. It's also referred to and used quite often in Kriya Yoga. When we find our inner light, we find an aspect of ourself, a lighter aspect of ourself. It's still not us. It's not self with capital S, but it does reflect a lighter part of us, right? A more sattvic part of ourselves. So for these last few moments of your practice, even if your arms get tired and you want to lay your arms back down on the floor, please keep focusing on this inner light. Keep your physical eyes relaxed. I'd like to end your practice for you today with a beautiful writing that I found on my friend Catherine Tarananda's Facebook page. This is written by her son. A series of events is about to unfold, and the best possible course of action for the individual is to look any fear or anger straight on. Feel it in every cell of your body until a space begins to clear for your inner peace. From that place, you will know how your time and energy can best be directed. We can no longer ignore the shadows of our existence. We must stand up and accept ourselves for who we are in order to begin shifting into a state of equilibrium. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all what's true, for it is the thoughts and actions of response that build the future. Continually lay claim your power of will. Take your life one moment at a time and be conscious of all decisions you make. As we charge forward through these times of uncertainty and chaos, bear in mind that we are still creating our reality with everything we think and do. Anyone can be a good person when their needs are met. Can you remain one in the face of tremendous adversity? Also, remember that we exist in many realities simultaneously. You may feel all over the place, wavering between extremes of joy, love, fear, anger, greed, gratitude, motivation, disempowerment, etc. This is completely normal. Allow yourself to feel these things and let them guide you without getting wrapped up in the story. Our bodies are all doing their best right now to recalibrate, to accommodate a whole myriad of intense shifts on a more subtle plane. Some of them can be sensed if you pay close attention. This too is normal, and I encourage you to write down your thoughts and share these experiences with anyone who will listen. Right now, light and dark are in a delicate dance, and while that may feel like chaos, there are parts of you developing in the background that are completely at ease and that are completely beyond imagination. Give them the space they need by trusting them completely. So for these last few moments of class, try to feel that in a tangible way in your body. This inner stability. This part of you, these parts of you that are developing. Kind of because of the chaos, thanks to the chaos. Tune in and identify with those parts of yourself for just a few more moments. You may decide that you would like to stay in this relaxing pose for a longer period of time. Please feel free to do so. Otherwise, roll to one side into a fetal position. Take a breath or two or three while you're on your side. And when you feel complete with that, place yourself into a comfortable seated pose. Again, feel free to stay resting on the floor. Bringing your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.